a quote by Aristotle. Education is an ornament in prosperity and a refuge in adversity. So I hope today we all learn something more. I have learned so much more from Sana and from Anya. Thank you. And I guess this is what life is about, getting prepared when an adverse situation comes across. So I will focus more about adversity in the context of organizations and corporates, since I also have a background of being in corporates and as an entrepreneur. So imagine that you are a leader of an organization and you have 500 employees and thousands of customers, and your organization is doing quite well. The processes are in place, workflows are in place, policies, procedures, and everyone gets up in the morning and knows exactly what they have to deliver today. They know the hierarchies, they know their job profiles. So, this is how an organization is moving. It's a momentum, and suddenly something happens because of an external factor or an internal factor, but the organization comes to a still. So, as a leader, people are looking up to, and what are you going to do? So, this is where the leadership in adverse situation comes in. So, for an organization, adversity does not mean a small hiccup or a small event which can be resolved in a small a conference meeting or a board meeting. But it's a situation where the old policies and structure becomes obsolete. And leaders are also human beings. They also don't know what to do in that situation. So let us just see something more about what are the different ways in which such a crisis, such an adversity can come upon an organization. The first is, of course, natural crisis, catastrophes, which we all have seen around us in the pandemic. Big organizations, medium scale, small scale, whatever may be the organization. But the crisis, the pandemic moved and shaken all of us. And this is something which is not in our control. It is so large that it completely disrupts the present situation. The second could be because of technology and invention. So imagine that there is a technology platform which the organization is presently using. And if it is a e-commerce platform, then its sales also rely on that platform. And suddenly there is a huge loss because the technology crashes, that platform crashes. So this can be a very adverse situation for an organization. And it could also be that the leaders, the people in the organization have put a lot of effort to bring a particular technology in the organization. And suddenly there is an invention. In today's time, invention in technology is happening so fast that someone who has invested so much time, resource, energy suddenly finds that the technology is obsolete. So, for an organization, this can be a huge challenge. Third, a financial loss and bankruptcy. Now, leaders are also human beings. Wrong decisions can be made. A product can fail in the market, and bank loans can be huge, and a company can suddenly find itself in bankruptcy. It is a situation of a, a confusion, of very adverse situation for an organization. Another one could be new government rules. Like lately, the social media, Facebook and Twitter and Insta, for them, India made new rules. So the leaders, they had to quickly do something about it. Otherwise, it will be a huge loss for them that for few days or few months, the app cannot work in these organizations, in these countries. So a new government rule can be a big challenge for organizations, or it could be that they missed out the present regulations. Sometimes leaders forget that there are certain welfare regulations, employee welfare regulations, or tax regulations which need to be strictly followed in a particular country. in today's time, when there is so much globalization and organizations are not only doing business in their homeland, the leaders have to be aware of all the taxes, regulations which the other countries are also following. And we cannot miss any of that. Otherwise, it can be a big problem for the organization. Another one is the cyber security threats and hacking, which is a big problem right now for organizations. A huge data can be lost, and information which should not be leaked out goes out in the market and can lead to a adverse situation for an organization. And the last one is the workplace violence. Sometimes the employees among themselves can have a situation in the organization that it can go up to a level of reaching the media, and the organization also comes in the eyes of the media, and it can be a big problem for an organization. So this is what few of the points which I wanted to bring, that what kind of adverse situation an organization can face. And now let's see, in such a situation, imagine that if you were a leader, and please go to the next slide, please. Yeah. So if what would be the role of a leader during such a situation? Because one of us, the people who are sitting here listening to me, we can be future leaders for organizations, future organizations, maybe the organization which are not born today, and you might lead an organization in future. So what would be a role of a leader in such a situation? The first thing is accepting the situation. I accept honestly and I objectively assess the current situation. I take the responsibility and not start blaming my team members or the situation, the event, the government, or people around. So I take the responsibility and honestly, objectively assess the current situation. And from there, I make a way forward by understanding that what are the things that I can control and what are the things which I need to let go. Because if I mix up these things, then I try to take responsibility of things which I cannot control. And then there is so much of confusion. So it's better to be clear about the circle of concern and the circle of influence. Whatever I can control, then I work as a leader to do what I can do, and having a clarity of the purpose and vision. Because a leader is someone, everyone is looking up to you and you're going to make the way. If the leader is not clear about the purpose, the vision of the organization, then how are we going to align the goals, the old goals or maybe the new goals, with that vision, with that purpose? And how is this going to happen? By building trust and empathy among the team members, among the stakeholders. Now, laying down the new strategies, policies, workflows accordingly by having a discussion, by involving others. And in this whole process, negative feedbacks are going to be there. And what to do about them? Accept them. That fine, I don't know everything. And I tell my team that I don't know everything, but your suggestions are welcome. And I want to have your ideas, your suggestions. So in the crisis management team, we have people who we can trust and they can openly give suggestions. And using the technique of chunking up and chunking down. So what happens that if there is a lot of confusion, so use the technique of chunking up, which simply means that you have a bird eye view. Look at the things from the top. When you see things from the top, you will have clarity, purpose. So use chunking up in confusion. And when there is things, a lot of complexity is there, and you need to work on details, then chunking down, which means you break the big project into small pieces and then focus your attention on those small pieces. So using chunking up and chunking down. And now let's talk about these skills that are needed in an adverse situation by a leader. The first thing is resilience, which simply means bouncing back. How fast the leader will bounce back, it will bring the team back with him or with her. So bouncing back. If just engrossed in my own negativity, in my self pity and negative talk, I can't do this, I'm not enough, then how is the team going to be led? So a leader needs to have this skill of self awareness, resilience, and a positive attitude, not a kind of a wishful thinking in an impractical way, but an intuitive hope where you can say that yes, things are going to be better. We have a plan and we are working in that direction. So these are the skills which I feel a leader must have, and especially when the leader is facing an adverse situation, a hiccup in the organization. So to close this talk, I will read a quote from Louis Pasteur: "Luck favors the prepared." So our effort is in getting prepared so that when there is a tough time, we are stronger. Thank you so much.